Good morning, everybody. We are back. Who is in the house today? Please make sure you hit that like button on your way in. It'll make me a happy man. And make sure you say hi in the chat. Let's get some activity in here. Let me just turn these lights up slightly. There we go. I've only just got out of the shower. I'm running late these days. Also, it's fine. I'll put it on later. I'm not that lazy. I have walked the dogs and done other stuff this morning, but I have only just got out of the shower because I wanted to freshen up, be clean for the live stream. So it's not like I've only just woken up. I have been up for quite a while. Anyway. Who do we have in here? We got Cons, good morning. ZK, hey Luke, I'm liquidated. Aren't we all? But no, I hope if that is genuine, then you're doing okay. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy move, wasn't it, that we had? But we're going to cover that in today's video, in today's stream. And yeah, just go over what else is going on, really. Mitko, welcome. Knight, long 50.6 small size, shorted ton to 0. Nice. Ragdogs ME, welcome. Shorty, welcome. Hostile Power, welcome. Rito, welcome. Andy Alexander, welcome. Amit, welcome. Lucifer, welcome. Pubrick, welcome. What else is going on in the chat? Let's just have a look. I knew we'd get some smug bears in the house. So Amit says, what about the 69.6k imbalance, bro? I mean, it's still there, obviously, duh. So we will be going to get that at some point. I didn't say that we had to get it straight away, but we will be going back there. It's not an imbalance anyway. 69.8 isn't an imbalance, it's a POC. Hold on, no, wait, we fucking... Didn't we do that? Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember what it was that I was talking about and when it was. But I mean, we've been there, haven't we? We've been there. This is... no, this was for this bounce. Yeah, I get it. Shout out to all the recently divorced brothers and sisters in the chat. Yeah. Hey, I had my my grand retirement plans that were scuppered by that move yesterday. Got to keep working now. No, I was always going to stick around, but I am still disappearing to another country very soon. Anyway, this music's loud and annoying. Rito, is this happening because of carry trades from Japan? I mean, yes. Yeah, like, it was global sell-off panic bullshit yesterday for, like, no reason, really. It's like, oh, Bank of Japan's raised rates. America hasn't, therefore we're just going to fuck everyone, basically. But that's trading. That's what happens. And especially in these kind of markets where... there's a lot of speculation around the markets at the moment, and it does make me laugh. Like, people coming out with the recession fears again, and when there's that kind of stuff, it just increases the craziness, right, across the board, and that's what we've seen. But I mean, Japan's already back to where it started yesterday, so it's retraced all of its losses from yesterday. The Japanese index anyway. Nasdaq, I think, is kind of similar. Bitcoin's kind of similar. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to just pump from here, because I still do not think that's going to happen until October, and I've been saying that throughout the whole summer. But yeah, we'll cover this. We'll cover this. I will start off with with BTC. There's just a couple of charts that I want to share with you guys today. So we will do that. Let me just open this chart up here and just make that a weekly without this crap. Andy, I still think that given everything that's happening geopolitically, BTC is holding very well for now. Shorty, yeah, when I read the news yesterday, I felt people overreacting. That's why I longs. Lucifer says, chat is way too bullish. People are buying. This move wasn't painful enough. Yeah, well. So, in terms of the geopolitical stuff, I don't even think that it's like... given everything that's happening geopolitically, it's like the only reason people actually care what's going on here is because things are dumping. Like it's just all so fucking stupid. It is just so stupid when you actually look at things. Like I'm going to go into the chart, but I do need to rant about this often because it is really, really just dumb. Like none of this shit is affecting any of us, really, is it? No, like it is so insignificant. Oh look, Iran and Israel are squabbling again, but what have they done the next day after they're like, hey, we're gonna go and send some missiles over? No, what they do is they say, oh, okay, we're calling an emergency meeting on Wednesday, the following day after the market's dumped. It's just like just ignore it. Like it really does not matter to anyone. And the thing is, when markets are dumping, people find reasons and then people over sensationalize any reason that might be the reason. Like the whole Japan thing. Okay, there's a bit of contagion that's going on because Japanese index sells off, it trickles over to other markets, it then trickles over to risk assets, and it does all that kind of thing. But it's not, again, it's insignificant. Japan raised rates on Wednesday, yet the dump was yesterday. All right, they've had 3 days plus a weekend to do this, and it moves on a Wednesday. So it isn't actually that. It's nowhere near as linked as you think it is to all of this like geopolitical stuff. It's just price action. And when we look at what happened with Bitcoin, it's just pure price action. It's just pure technicals. And it's the same with other stuff as well, at least with Bitcoin, because that's the one that I've been following. As soon as we'd lost the support, like I posted this. I posted on Twitter. I was like, if we don't bounce here, and I just had a water slide, and I was like, we're fucked. And it's like, it's just technical. That's all you really need to look at. And then people start chasing the news and what's going on and trying to find reason and whatever for it. Just ignore it. It doesn't affect you. There's absolutely nothing you can control. You can't control what people in Iran and Israel and America and what Trump's doing and what all of this kind of stuff. You have no control over that. The only thing you can control is what's going on in the charts and how you react to the price action itself. So just like, seriously, every time that I get like, oh, do you think this is going to happen because of this? Just shut up. Ignore it. Does not matter. Unless we get like proper, yeah, like the only thing that I would the only thing, yeah, all these countries are just squabbling all the time and they don't actually, it doesn't, like, it's just stupid. And yes, okay, it sucks for yeah, I don't know. Lucifer, of course you have control. Why do you think people protest? Because it works. Does it? No, it doesn't. When was the last time a protest worked? And when was the last time you protested? Anyway. Right, we're gonna get to the charts. The only thing that would truly scare me is if there's like all-out nuclear war. Like, we're not going into World War III. We're not going into recession. Just shut up. If you're saying that, you're silly. All right, music off. Let's do a Bitcoin update, and let's keep it just to the technicals. What's this? Oh, VWAP. Okay, I want to keep that on there. Hostile power. We're in World War III since about 2014. Yeah, I mean, we've been in World War III since. It's just a constant, like, squabbling. That's kind of what it is, isn't it? So they'll move from one country to the next and whatever. Silly stuff. Governments being governments, countries being countries. Dictators being dictators. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 6th of August today. This is your Bitcoin update. I didn't do one yesterday because it was panic in the streets. And I just wanted to give it a little bit of time to settle. I took some losses. I was very open about taking these losses. I had invalidations on those lows from the beginning of July. So I took some losses. I was a little bit pissed off yesterday. But we're back here. We're back now. No harm done. I still had my short positions, so I was more or less all right with that. But yeah, just wanted to let things settle, let the dust settle on the move from yesterday, and then reassess today and see where we are at. And I did a post for the crew yesterday. And it's one of these things, like, in hindsight, I think this was really obvious. And I think yesterday I was kicking myself for not seeing it. And I get like myself kind of worked up when I don't mind about losing with trading, but I worry more that I do my analysis, and if I miss things, then I get like annoyed at myself. And I think there were certain things that maybe I just wasn't as clear about. And I know within streams and everything, I've had a pretty bearish bias for quite some time. But I did, maybe just didn't trade it as well as I could have done. Didn't trade towards my own analysis, which has frustrated me slightly. But anyway, I digress. We're here to talk about the technicals and where Bitcoin is and what we can expect from the future. So it's very, very simple what's happened recently. So the drop was, all right, we had the big impulse up back in February, okay? That move had previously been, mainly corrected, and now what we're seeing from yesterday is prices traded through it and come back through to tap back into what was the ETF launch day. So this is when our ETFs launched on the 8th of January, and it's hit it to the dollar. So actually, the ETF launch was right at the top of this day. Okay, we did top on the ETF launch. We had that pullback, and then we had the big impulse higher. This move down has come in, tapped it to the exact tick, and also filled the gap that we have on the charts that is between that ETF high and the move higher that we've had. So from a level-based perspective, from a technical-based perspective, we've just kind of then cleaned up more of the imbalance. And this is a level that, when you look at it now, very, very clear to be testing within this range here, having already tested into this and not being able to break towards highs. What this needs to do now is to break towards new highs. If it doesn't, then we still look for lower prices. The second thing that's happened here, if we just stay on the weekly time frame, in fact, I don't have it on this chart, do I? But if I do just throw on an EMA, let's just whack on an EMA and just turn this into the 50. right here, then what we have seen is, whoopsie, this is the one that I want to be moving. We have had that test of the 50-week EMA, which within markets is significant. So from a weekly perspective, I want to be seeing a close back above the range and back above that weekly 50-week EMA, similar to what we did back here. Okay, I know we ran below it slightly previously, but what we have seen in previous bull markets is this has offered really strong support. And when it gets flipped, okay, it does act as resistance. So we have seen this working out in the past, and I would imagine that it does get a decent reaction again today, well, this week. So that is the second thing on the weekly time frame. And then what we have also done, in fact, I'm going to move down onto the daily chart now and just show this a little bit more clearly, is these lines here are your rolling 365-day moving average and your rolling 365-day VWAP. Okay, this one being your VWAP, this one being your moving average. And look at the lows, okay, very, very significant. This is something often overlooked, but something I always have there. I do like to keep a monthly rolling VWAP and a yearly rolling VWAP on my chart just to check every now and again. And once again, these were within that zone where we had that gap on the weekly. There has been the confluence there, and that is where we are subsequently seeing a bounce from that. So I do feel as if this was probably, I know I said it on the last one, and I'd maybe overlooked a couple of things previously. But I mean, we had a nice reaction from the last low anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But when I say this is going to be the low, really it should be. Otherwise, anything below this point now, in my opinion, would be bear market, which I just feel is very unlikely still. Despite the fact that you're seeing a lot of FUD everywhere, I do still believe that that's highly unlikely. When you actually look at the money and the liquidity that's out there and what's going on, I do think the recession and bear market at this stage is by far like I say, the less likely thing rather than having a second wave, which I do think is what's going to happen next. So, yeah, this is quite significant. So I did also mention that there's basically three things I want to see from Bitcoin to, I guess, confirm this is a low. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have a situation where we grind back down, fill the wick, and we just have some kind of descent that looks a little bit like this. But when you look at what happened yesterday, that was the biggest candle on relative volume. So if we just add this onto the chart, it was the highest relative volume that we've had since COVID. Okay, so that was the COVID crash there. And this is the candle from yesterday. That is the highest relative volume. So that means that obviously because we're at a much higher price, it's going to show very much less volume being traded because there's a lot more Bitcoin being traded when prices are down here than there are when prices are up here. Okay, we're more than 10%, 10x higher than we were during the COVID crash. So to switch that to the relative volume, we can see that this has been the biggest day for Bitcoin since COVID crash. And it was the biggest move for Bitcoin since COVID crash. So I think that tells us a lot about what's going on right now and can basically give us a lot of confidence that, okay, even if this does grind and we fill the wick, it is a massive opportunity to be buying here if, of course, you still have any dollars left after the range that has been put in. So the things that I want to see from this chart, the first thing we did, okay, I wanted to see a daily close back inside the range. All right, that gave me confidence that we have, in fact, seen that there is no acceptance down here. All right, it was simply a flush. We are gaining acceptance back within the range that we previously had. All right, we have SFP, these lows, we've closed back inside. That to me is a sign that, yep, this is all looking okay in the long term. Okay, short-term pain, long-term gains with this, but I think that's all looking okay. The second thing I want to see very simply is the weekly close back inside that level. So if the weekly can do that, then again, happy days. I think everything is looking fine, even if there is to be a bit of a wick fill that happens later on. Now, there is a third thing that I want to see. And if I just go back onto this chart here, let me take this one off. I think as we get towards the end of the month, then what I also want to see from Bitcoin is, I mean, ideally, you want to be seeing these lows back here reclaimed. And for me, I think what would be really good is seeing a monthly close that ends up back inside the candles, the candle bodies of this range so far, which essentially means closing the month out. I know we're very early into the month, but from a macro perspective, closing the month above that 60,500, 61K zone would look pretty good. Of course, we were looking at this monthly close last week, seeing if it would get that bullish engulfing candle, which it didn't. Okay, showed a little bit of weakness as we went in towards the end of the month. And then immediately what happens after that is you do that, get that continuation, which, okay, is what we have seen so far. So, yeah, that's kind of the price action that I want to be talking about. We're going to just look at, what chart do I want to look at here? I've messed everything up. Where's the thing I wanted? There we go. Okay. I also want to just cover the lower time frames. Okay, now that I've covered the higher time frames. So what we're looking at, all right, we had the weekly open yesterday. There was a very small move up before obviously a huge move down. So our Monday range is enormous. I think it's almost 20% here. So yeah, we have almost 15% down. If you do it up, then it's going to be more, obviously, because you get, it's a little bit exponential when you go up. So yeah, almost a 20% range to be playing with here, which is big. Okay. We have seen a little bit of a rejection this morning, but nothing too significant. Okay. What this is doing so far, very, very simple. Whereas price just getting some support. It is within the impulse that we had from our daily open. Okay, we know that we had that big drop yesterday. Price came back into the single prints. All right, dropped lower, and we're seeing a similar situation here where we've just had a daily open that's moved up. All right, I think on spot this popped into the single prints, and I'll show you on XO charts in just a moment. But I am able to break through that. You come back down, you're finding support through this 30-minute gap, through the single prints here. And I do think that there is a pretty good possibility that we could go and be testing these Monday highs. So that is probably the trade that I'm looking for today, is to see if there can be a move up towards those Monday highs, at which point I would probably look for a short. So I did buy the dip yesterday night, so that would have been the early hours. I would have been buying that, and then I missed this one, and then I was out yesterday. So I am long from, I think for myself, it's around about 52,800. I'm not really checking it very much. I'm just like, yeah, I did take a long from those lows, and it's the same on Ethereum. Then we had these further dumps that happened afterwards, but yeah, I did buy and get that long yesterday. And yeah, I think for myself, if we do come up towards those Monday highs, test into that weekly open, take those Monday highs, then I would assess the reaction. But I could then think we can probably be looking for short positions to come back and do some of this wick fill from the move, from this bounce so far. Going down onto the 15-minute, again, there's nothing too much to say here. All right, daily open was a move up that took out session highs. And yeah, we're just holding some support here. Right now, I think it could be a decent long, actually. In fact, if you're looking to trade this with the lows of the day being around validation and target of Monday high, I think that would be absolutely reasonable to do so. So we do have a trade right here. It gives you a pretty good risk to reward on this. And then what we are looking for, depending on the reaction from those Monday highs, would be a short position, probably back in towards the POC of this range, wherever that may be. I'd imagine we're probably looking at this being somewhere down here. Okay, it'll be different on different exchanges. It's actually showing the POC of the range as being like exactly where we are right now. So in fact, along right now, targeting those Monday highs looks a pretty decent trade as we speak. And the invalidation is clear. Okay, you just don't want to see the daily open lost. If there is to be a move down towards daily open, okay, you give it a little bit of room. But what we have just below there is your weekly VWAP. So that could be offering some nice support. Of course, we're not trending on the day so far today. So the session VWAP is not going to be offering everything. Price is going to be right at it at the moment. So yeah, like you can just see that it's just been hovering around that VWAP and been unable to move away from that at all. But if there is to be a move down that tests this a little bit further, that could be something also to be looking at. If there is to be a sweep of those Monday highs, the price can come up from this point here, take those Monday highs, drop it back down. That could become a daily level at that point. And then you've got your weekly VWAP offering some support as you come back up there. And then it could give you, again, more potential to trade within this range. So in general, I think we've seen a nice bounce. Okay, there was a nice reaction from the lows yesterday on very high volume. And I think there's potential for this to go a little bit higher. But then I think we drop into a really nice range here. We've got, like I say, that 20% range to trade. And I think now that we've got the data from yesterday, I think this can now be traded quite easily, probably. Because what tends to happen with these moves is a lot of people are completely wiped out. So it then becomes very technical for a few days after these big drops. They often are my favorite times to trade. You wait out the day of the actual panic and the capitulation, because that's not nice to trade. All right. But then once that settles down, you look at the charts, you look at the technicals, and everything becomes very technical again. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, anything can happen. Any lower, and you would simply look for, I'd say probably look down towards the golden pocket, because what we have down there is taking out these lows. And of course, we did have a pretty rapid move up just before the New York Open yesterday. So if this moves down before taking the highs, that's something I would look to. And then, of course, if we do go and take these highs, then we still have that golden pocket area down here, okay, that we can be aiming for. So that is, yeah, exactly what I'm looking at on these lower time frames. I think it's relatively straightforward. I'm a little bit annoyed that I'm streaming right now, because I would be longing this, having done this analysis. So if you're watching this live, there you go. Take that information as you want. Let's see how it goes. If you're watching this afterwards, then you'll know if it played out or not. So, hey, cool. Anything else to cover? Of course, let's just go over some of the order flow stuff. I haven't actually looked at this at all since